Alright guys, so welcome to another Friday, and as everybody should know by now, that Fridays are the days that we do donut reviews. The donuts that I have for you today, just like last week or two, from a place I've been to before. So I went in and I asked them what their favorite donuts were, and we're going to go from there. Since I'm thirsty, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the coffee for this week. It's going to be from Crimson Cup, because there was a Crimson Cup not far away from the donut shop, and I didn't see coffee in the shop. They were busy. I didn't feel like bugging them. So Crimson Cup coffee, black. The way coffee was meant to be. The donuts for today are from, oh man, I don't want to say this place wrong. I took a picture. Let me pull up my picture on my phone. It is the original Goodie Shop. I always want to call it like the little Goodie Shop. It's the original Goodie Shop in Upper Arlington. I'll put a picture right here, and I bet you I've already put the picture up because I took two pictures, so I'm gonna put another picture up here. It's in like a big strip mall with some restaurants and stuff. There's a Italian place there called Moretti's, which is very popular. And then it's like back in the little way. So you got the original sign up front, and then when you go in, there's like some what do we call that, neon lights in the window. So anyhow, no marketing on the bag, old school. One thing I will say about the Goodie Shop is that donuts are a very small portion of their business. I should have taken a picture when I was in there. I could have done it with my phone very easily. They only had probably 5 or 6 different kinds of donuts, and one of the ones she really wanted me to try was the chocolate long john, which I passed on because I've already done it. Thinking back on it, I probably should have gotten the chocolate long john, because if she's that confident that she loves it, I should have gone with it. It's old school icing on it. It looked delicious, and they were a little bit shorter. Some of the things I've had there before are more of like pastries. Like they have these little cinnamon sticks. I don't know how to describe them. They're amazing. They also have a lot of cookies. They have giant cookies. They have iced cookies with unicorns on them. All kinds of fun stuff. And I think they do cakes and stuff there too. But anyway, so the first donut she told me to get, forget what she called this thing. She called it like a cinnamon Danish something. I'm going to call this like a cinnamon knot. Well, that focused all right. But this thing, regardless of what you call it, it looks pretty amazing. It's got a lot of cinnamon and a lot of glaze on top. It's beautifully done. Like, this is a bakery that these people have some technical skills. I really appreciate that. Can you see that? There you go. There's a good shot of it. I wish that I had the big styrofoam tote that I had last week, because this is messy. It's already flaking all over the place. But let's give it a shot. I don't know if this thing's gonna fit in my mouth. Well, we're about to find out. That is really good. I'm trying to think of the flavor. Obviously it's cinnamon, but I like to describe it to you, to compare it to something else that maybe you've had. It almost has that consistency of like a fritter. Tons of cinnamon flavor, and it's nice and chewy. It's also incredibly soft. Whatever this thing is called, it really is one of the best things that it is that I've ever had. You know, I've had cinnamon not glazed things. Those are typically more of your same dough that I think glazed donuts are made of, and they just kind of roll them in cinnamon and time and knot. This is definitely a different kind of dough. has that very gratifying crunchy cinnamon sugar on the outside that people who are not Americans might not understand the reference, but it's like when you get an elephant ear at the fair, how it's just coated in that like that crunchy cinnamon sugar. So it's really good. This little part wants to come out, and this is definitely a huge mess in my lap. I'm gonna have to clean up before I go home, or else I'm gonna have some explaining to do. I will say 100% without a doubt that was an excellent recommendation. I'll look on their webpage and get the right name for what they call that, but I think she called it like a cinnamon twist Danish, which really caught me off guard because I didn't see anything look like a Danish, but she pointed out she called it some kind of Danish, so I was like, okay. But that was fantastic. As far as recommended donuts, and if that's going to be their signature thing, 100%, 10 out of 10. The next one is not the kind of donut that you would typically get if you're like trying to showcase a donut shop, but I will say it's a staple, and it should be one of the categories that a lot of donut shops are based off of. And I'm going to call this a dunking stick. I don't know what it's supposed to be called, but I'm calling this a dunking stick. And I'm not going to open my coffee and dunk this thing. For people that aren't familiar with these, I'm not really sure how to describe them. It's a cakey donut. It's usually kind of, it's dense. It's like a dense cakey donut with a really crispy, you hear that? Outside shell with a bunch of sweet glaze on it. It's just yummy. There's just something good about them. These are typically kind of filling, and often they'll have like a hint of lemon. So let's see how, she said she had a hard time picking like the next one, and some of the things that she wanted to pick she thought were more pastries than donuts. So she did say, she's like, this I think is one of our other signature things. So as far as dunking sticks go, I'm going to just say this is kind of average, to be honest. It's good. Like, if you like this sort of thing, you won't be let down necessarily. But there's really nothing special about it. And I have to say that I've kind of had better. I guess it's one of those things that it kind of comes down to personal preference, because she really liked it. Turn off my heat. She liked it enough that she recommended it to me. It's actually quite light and fluffy on the inside, which is unusual for this kind of donut. It's strange. This is a hard one to judge, because as far as these things go, I usually expect it to be incredibly dense. Here's what it looks like on the inside. I usually expect these to be incredibly dense and filling. This one's not. It's really light. There's a certain thing about it that makes it really good. But when I have these things, I kind of want that dense, overly filling thing. I don't know. It's strange. It's kind of, judging this is kind of like judging pizzas. How you can have two pizzas that are absolutely fantastic. One of them has like a thicker crust. It might be pan, like, what's the word I'm looking for? A pan pizza where it's baked in like a thick pan where it's got butter and grease all the way up the side. The other one might be like a thinner crust pizza, maybe like a fire roasted pizza where it's a thinner and chewier crust and dry on the outside. They could both be absolutely amazing, but they're completely different pizzas, and it's not fair to compare the two. That's kind of the situation I find myself in. I'm honestly stumped. I would say some people probably think that's the best one that they've had because it's so different than the ones at other donut shops. So I can understand why she would have recommended that one to me. For me personally, if I'm going to get a dunking stick, that's not the kind that I want. I'm going to give it a 6.5 if I have to, and I do that begrudgingly, only because it's just not the kind that I normally get. So maybe it's not fair to give it that rating, but it's all subjective. It's my own opinion. In no way, shape, or form does it change my opinion of the Goodie Shop in Upper Arlington, because that place is amazing. There's a little diner right down the strip called Chef Onette that's like very popular, very well known in the area. It's just a diner and it's just good. And then Moretti's, like I said. So I would say if you're in the area and going to any of those restaurants, by all means slide into the Goodie Shop, see what they have, and pick something up. You most likely will not be let down. I really enjoyed it. So to recap, the cinnamon thing that I can't remember what it was called, that cinnamon not Danish looking thing, was one of the best of its kind that I think I've ever had in my life. The dunking stick, probably not something I would go for again. But if you like the dunking sticks to be a little bit lighter and fluffier, you would probably really enjoy that. So that's my review of, what should I call this? The Employee's Choice Goodie Shop review. That's what we're going to call that today. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for hanging out. I'll talk to you guys soon.